Hello?
I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. This is week 2 of the lecture. Well, today we are going to be talking about formal letters, stylistic forms, parts, and essential parts. But before we begin the lecture, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Bibian Uguala, your online facilitator for GST 102 use of English and communication skills. I'm sure you know the course is a 2-credit unit course, and it is for all 100 level students across the program. Like I said earlier, we are going to be discussing formal letters, stylistic forms, parts, and types. The aim of today's lecture is to help you to discuss the formal style of communication, distinguish between formal and informal letters, describe the essentials of formal letters, apply the essentials of formal letters to writing such letters. You know that in spoken or written communication, we can decide to be formal or informal, depending on the situation and our relationship with the person to whom we are speaking or writing. So, essentially, we are going to focus on formal letters. So let me say what informal letters are. Informal letters are extended, long discourse, private conversation among friends and relatives. For instance, in a letter to a relative or a friend, you may wish to describe a place or a person, tell a story, or even have an argument. In these private letters, you may decide to use whatever form of language you like. But when you are writing formal letters, it is not like that. The language used in formal letters are strictly formal. So what do we mean by being formal? By formal behavior, we mean that our behavior is in accordance with certain rules, customs, and conventions that are observed in our society. Formal letters are generally more set in their styles and phraseology. Although the conventions change from time to time, they are usually written when you want to request something from an organization or you want an organization to do something for you. Example of formal letters are application letters, letters of inquiries, letter to newspapers, editors, order for goods, letter asking to travel, and hotel reservation. And there are so many of them. So we are going to be discussing the essential parts of a formal letter or the language used in writing formal letters. We know that the way we discuss with our friends physically is not the way we use in writing formal letters. There are certain grammatical structures that are common in formal letters. For example, the use of contracted forms are not allowed in formal letters. Avoid sounding too pompous when you are writing a formal letter. It is good for you to appear natural and friendly. Keep your letters as brief as possible. Remember that the person you are writing to may not have the time to read so many details that you have written. So make sure your letter is as short, as brief as possible. So your letter should be clear, precise, and complete. By complete, it means all the essential information that the reader needs to know are in the letter. Care should be taken to highlight the main points. Try as much as possible to highlight the main points in your formal letter. Remember, I'm giving you the general format of all formal letters. Your letter should always present facts clearly. Figures, dates, and explanations that are incorrect or misleading may cost time, money, and goodwill. Therefore, in your formal letters, make sure you cross-check facts before writing. Remember also that when you finish writing your formal letter, you must sign the letter. Signing the letter shows a form of authentication of the facts you have in the formal letter. And nowadays, most formal letters are typed, unlike in those days when you write with longhand. Now you have to type your formal letters. And the official font used in typing formal letters in most organizations is called the Times New Roman. And the font size is usually 12, except if you decide to embody some font in different parts of the letter. Now we move on to mechanics of writing a formal letter. Before you write a formal letter, it is very good or advisable to prepare an outline. You do this by jotting down points on a notepad. These points will help you to be able to organize your letters well. If you don't jot down your points, you may end up writing, going out of points. Secondly, after that, you write a draft based on the outline you have sketched. In this draft, you try to limit your writing to the focus you are choosing, weeding out unnecessary facts. As a general rule, you can organize your letters in 3 parts. Say why you are writing, highlight the important parts, describe what you want the reader to do for you. After writing your letter, make sure you go over your letter again to make sure you cross your T's and you dot your I's. Punctuation is very, very important in writing formal letter. That is abiding by the rules of punctuation. You know where to put full stop, where to put your comma, where to use column, and where to use the semicolon. I'm sure you are following.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Who are those people behind there?
My colleague.
They should equally come online. Tell them to come online. So, writing formal letters is very important because in the course of your life, at one point or another, you must need to write a formal letter. As students of National Open University, you must need at one point or another to write formal letters. For instance, if you need the study center director of where you are studying to do something for you, if you have a case of missing results, you must write a formal letter of request. So it is very important to pay attention to listen to the technicalities involved in writing formal letters. Also, if you are writing a follow-up to a previous formal letter, you put what is called RE, that is RE, showing that it is a reply or a response to a previous letter or previous discussion. Now move on to types of formal letters. Like I said before, we have so many types of formal letters. The one that is very common and rampant that students write is called letter of complaint. Like I told you before, you may need to complain about one thing or another, even if not to your study center director, but maybe to the organization where you work. So you need to write letter of complaint. And writing letter of complaint focuses on things that bother us in life, or things that cause us some inconveniences which need to be changed. It therefore becomes necessary that you write a letter of complaint to the appropriate person or organization you know that can handle your matter. If you want a larger audience to read it, you can then put it in a newspaper. You can get it published in a newspaper. So here are some hints or suggestions when writing letter of complaint. Make sure that you have correct facts. Make sure your facts are accurate. To complain without reason will annoy the receiver of your letter. If you are complaining, if you don't have any reason, you don't have facts to back up what you are writing, the reader will get annoyed. Avoid sounding rude or nasty in the letter. Remember that the person who received the letter may not be directly responsible for the situation you are complaining about. So getting angry with the person is not necessary. Avoid sounding rude. Understand? If you have a complaint to make, do not delay. For instance, if you have a case of missing results after writing your exams, do not delay. You have to write immediately so that it will be attended to immediately too. When you are complaining, there is no need to apologize. So because you have not done anything wrong, so you don't need to apologize in your letter of complaint. We now move on to replies to letters of complaint. Like I said, there are so many types of formal letters. When you are replying to a letter of complaint, the kind of letter has a technical name. It is called letter of adjustment. You may sometimes be in a position where you have to answer a letter of complaint. To prepare an adjustment letter, you must first investigate what happened and what you can do to satisfy the person who has made the complaint. After you have obtained the facts, you can organize your letter in the following ways. Begin by acknowledging the receiver of the complaint, thank the person for writing to you, and apologize immediately. That is, when you are replying to a letter of complaint, you then need to apologize. There's also letter of request. You write letter of request when you want to write to commercial organizations or to official bodies for things you want to be done. This is probably the most common form of formal letter. There are two kinds of requests you may make. You can request for goods or services. You can request for information of various sorts. You understand? So you can write letter of request again in National Open University if you get moved from the study center where you are to another place. You can write to the director of the study center to officially transfer you to a new location. That is called letter of request. We now move on to application letters. If you are looking for a job or you wish to change your job, you will probably have to write a number of letters, particularly letters of application that you will send along with your curriculum vitae. Curriculum vitae, the short form is called the CV. The CV is a short written account of your education and past employment, if any. Wherever you send a copy of your curriculum vitae to an organization where you are looking for a job, you should also send a personal covering letter, which is known as the letter of application. These two items are separate, and you should consider them inseparable. Even if you are answering an advertisement that asks for only the curriculum vitae, you must attach the application letter. This letter supplements your CV in that it provides information that is usually not included in the CV or cannot be fitted in the CV for lack of space. So what is a letter of application? A letter of application, therefore, is an elaboration or an explanation of the facts you have listed in your curriculum vitae. There is an important difference between a letter of application and your CV. The CV is a straightforward factual presentation of the facts you have relating to your education, work experience, and other qualifications. These facts may qualify you for a number of jobs in different organizations. In the covering letter, you have a chance to interpret these facts and show that how they are particularly relevant to the position you are applying for. So your letter goes beyond merely saying that you have certain qualifications. It shows that your qualifications are good enough to get you the job.
Okay.
I hope you are following.
Yes.
Oluwatoyin.
Yes.
Oluwatoyin Paul, can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes.
Toyin Paul, can you hear me?
I think he left, ma.
Okay. The aim of the letter should be that your reader should offer you the job. Therefore, your letter and curriculum vitae together explain your qualifications. They also provide an evidence of your ability to select appropriate information and organize it well for the reader. Your letter of application must attempt to do three important things. One, it should catch your reader's attention favorably. It should convince your reader that you are qualified for the position. The letter should invite you for an interview. These three things you should try to achieve in a one-page letter. Like I said before, it's not good for your letter, application letter, to be more than a page. If it's more than a page, your reader will get bored. Whatever information you need to present, make sure it is contained in a one-page document. Next, we move on to accepting an offer. If you are offered a job that you would like to take up after writing your application letter, you must write a brief letter of acceptance as soon as possible, certainly within a week. The format of the letter is simple. You have to begin by thanking the person for giving you the job. Then accept the job that you have been offered. Take care to identify the job by title. In the second paragraph, you should specify why you would like to take up the post. Conclude the letter with a statement that you may look forward to working for your new employer. Now we move on to declining an offer. After writing an application, there may be reasons why you may not wish to take up a job offered. For this, you must write a letter of refusal immediately. When writing such a letter, begin by giving a thought to your readers. Remember that they have invested some time and effort in you by sending you a letter of employment. So if you are not going to take up that employment, begin by thanking them and then politely refusing and stating the reason why you may not be able to take up that job offer. We now move on to letter ordering goods. If you are employed in an organization or self-employed, you may often have to order supplies of goods or equipment. Listen, I have pronounced equipment, not equipment. Equipment is equipment, not equipment. Like most Nigerians, we pronounce equipment and adding an S. Equipment is a non-count noun, so it shouldn't take an S. I'm sure you are noting that down. So letters ordering goods have the format of any other formal letter. But there are certain points which you must emphasize in such a letter. Another letter must be specific and complete if you are to receive the exact item that you want. For instance, you must give the exact name and part number, if necessary, of the item you want. You must give a detailed description of the item which you want to be sent to you. Be careful to include the size, the style, color, and so on. You must specify the quantity needed of each of these items which you have ordered. Do not clutter the letter with unnecessary details, such as when you need the items and them. Accurate. Sometimes even a misplaced decimal point could cause a serious problem, or even a misplaced comma or a semicolon can send the wrong signal to your receiver. So try as much as possible to cross-check the facts you have in your order letter. This means try to read your letter again, carefully checking all the facts you have written. Another type of formal letter is letters giving instructions. We sometimes write letters in which we convey our instructions to various organizations in order to have something done for us. For instance, you may change your address. When you change your address, you need to officially write the organizations you do business with, telling them of your new address. If you don't do so, you may miss your business partners. Simon Luca, can you see me? Can you hear me? Simon Luca, you're just joining on. Can you see me? Can you hear me? If you can't see me or hear me, you can send a message to me. What of Oluwatoyin Paul? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't think they can hear you.
Okay, you alone can hear me. But it's like they are following the lecture.
Yes, yes.
But I thought you said some of your classmates are there with you.
Yes, they are logging in.
Eh?
They're trying to log in. Some don't have Zoom, so they are trying to download it and then install the
Okay. So when you see your classmates, those you can see, tell them the topic we discussed today. You understand? Formal letters, stylistic parts, and the mechanics of writing formal letters. So like Simon can't see me, can't hear me. So it's like you are the only one seeing me and listening to the lecture.
Okay.
So like a recap of what we've done today, we've talked about formal letters, the stylistic part, and the stylistic part, the mechanics of writing the formal letter, and the different parts which a formal letter must have. Don't forget that whenever you are writing a formal letter, the formal letter must have a title. It must have a date. It must have your address and the address of the receiver. Every formal letter essentially has three parts: the introduction, the body of the letter, and the conclusion. Then the signing off line. And again, don't forget, like I mentioned before, you must sign all formal letters. You must sign all formal letters. Like most organizations now, you can't write letters to them in longhand. You must type whatever you are writing to them. You type, you print out, and you then sign. So let's conclude the lecture. So far, the formal style is distinct from informal letters. Formal letters are different from informal letters. We have also learned the essentials and mechanics of formal letters. You may have been writing formal letters wrongly before. I believe that after listening to this lecture, you'll be able to write better formal letters. So here we have explained the formal style of communication, distinction between formal and informal letters, essentials of formal letters, and mechanics of writing formal letters. Do not forget, make sure you read up your course materials for a better understanding of the points we have raised here. So far, those that can hear me, do you have any question to ask?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ask your question.
Now, please throw more light on cover letter.
Yeah?
Cover letter.
Yes, formal letter.
There's something about cover letter.
Eh?
Cover letters that you attach with your CV.
Yes, it is. The cover letter is called the application letter. The cover letter is the application letter. Because the essence of every cover letter or application letter is in response to an advertisement that has been placed by an organization. Do you understand? So when you are beginning that cover letter, you tell the organization where you have seen the advert. You can begin by saying, in response to your advertisement placed on a newspaper, I wish to apply for so and so positions. Are you clear now?
Okay. Yes,
eh? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, another question.
Okay.
Hello?
None for now. Hello, ma'am. None for now.
Okay, please don't forget next week. It is the same time. You know, advise all your classmates to come online to listen to the lecture. It will be beneficial to them. You understand?
Yes.
So you can tell them this. They see Paul Olaoluwa is trying to come online, but I think he's having difficulty doing that. Paul Olaoluwa, can you hear me? Hello, Paul. Were you online last week?
No, ma'am. I couldn't log in. I had network issues.
Oh, sorry about that. I think the site is better now. Next week, try and log in. Please, what's your name?
Chikodi.
Chikodi, where is your study center?
Calabar.
Okay, you are online from Calabar.
Yes.
Eh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's good. Please don't forget next week. Encourage others to come online. Do you understand?
Yes.
You know, it's because of network issue. That is why the thing is going on and coming, going and coming. You understand? So I think next week will be better. So try and read up what we've discussed today. Get your course material and read the different topics we've discussed today.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming online. You have my phone number, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's nice. You know my name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's online, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So why not encourage others to come behind you and listen to the lecture?
Okay.
Eh?
I didn't get it. Sorry, I didn't get it.
I said, why not advise your classmates that are walking around you to come behind you and listen to the lecture?
Okay, some of them are not doing just 102.
Okay. Are you in the study center? Where are you?
No, I'm not in the study center, but I'm with my study group.
Okay, that's nice. It's nice having study group. So bye for now. We see next.
All right, bye, ma'am.
Thank you.